Hello everyone, it's Natalie. Welcome to my channel, Find Joy in the Journey. Today I'll be making a peach cobbler from scratch. It's a recipe that I found on Instagram and I couldn't wait to try it. The ingredients I'm going to be using is self-rising flour, brown and white sugar, butter, cinnamon, 2 large cans of peaches, and pure vanilla extract. I'll start off by making the batter first. So I'm using 1.5 cups of self-rising flour. And it's important to remember to use self-rising flour. Okay? The next ingredient will be white sugar. So it'll be a full cup of white sugar. Now I'm still using that cup because I used it in the flour. I didn't want to put that same cup into my sugar container. So I'm using 1/2 cup, and I just put 2 1/2 cups in, and that will make my 1 cup of sugar. I just want to reiterate about the flour. Using all-purpose flour, if you're going to do that, then you'll have to add a baking powder so it will rise. You want the batter to rise and make a crust. So it's best to just go ahead and use self-rising flour because the baking powder is already in the flour. So you won't have to doctor it up. So just remember, self-rising flour. And now I'm adding cinnamon. And you add it to taste. But I started by just being a little careful, not putting too much cinnamon. I want to mix it together. So I'm mixing all the dry ingredients, and then I'm just going to taste the flour. And yes, I will actually taste the flour. It's just a little bit. I just want to make sure there is enough cinnamon in there. And I decided to put a little more cinnamon. You season it to taste. And you want that flavor in the batter. Okay, mixing the dry ingredients together to make sure it's completely incorporated. And then I will add the wet. So the wet ingredients will be milk. A full cup of milk. Now, I use 2% milk in my household, but you can use whole milk. The consistency of the batter should be like pancake batter. So it's too thick, so I'm going to add just a little more, probably about 1/4 cup. But just add enough liquid to make sure that you get that consistency that you need. Look, this is taking some doing because I refuse to pull out that wire whisk. I don't know why. I do not like cleaning the wire whisk afterwards. I just feel like it's too much of a hassle. So I'll basically just mix it up with my spoon or whatever I have. Now I'm going to prepare the peaches. I'm going to put 1/2 stick of butter in my dish. This is my homemade butter. I just recently learned to make homemade butter, and so I've been using it in all my cooking lately. So I'm going to let the butter melt, and now I'm going to add my peaches. You need 2 cans of peaches, 1 with the juice, and the second can, the juice has been drained off. So 2 cans of peaches, 1 with juice, 1 without juice. Now I'm going to add the sugar, the white and brown sugar. It's 1/2 cup of white sugar, 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Now the cinnamon, that's to taste. You put as much as you want on there. But you know, I'm conservative until I taste it, and then I'll go back and add if I need to or if I want to. Also, there was another ingredient that I forgot, and I'm going to show you why I added a dash of salt. Salt always adds something, just that little something. It kind of cuts the sweetness just a little. You don't want it overly sweet, or like my mother would say, icky sweet. She comes up with these phrases. Okay, so I added a little dash of salt to taste, and I also added pure vanilla extract. You didn't see me do it, but I did add it. Now I have a whole stick of the homemade butter that I have, and I'm going to melt that in the oven that's been preheating at 350. So you're going to take that in the dish that you're using for the cobbler. You're going to melt that in the dish. Okay. Now, after your butter is melted, you're going to take that batter that you made and you're going to pour it right on top of the melted butter. No stirring, just pour it right on top. I am making sure that it kind of evenly falls through on both sides of the dish. I don't want more crust on one side than the other. And that's also the reason why later when you see me add the peaches, I don't just pour it in, I actually spoon it in, because I want the peaches evenly distributed on each side. I don't want more peaches on the one side than the other. So also the pan is kind of heavy and it's hot, and I didn't want to hold it up and pour to prevent it from splashing. So I just took a spoon and I just ladled it in. And also I did withhold some of the juice because I felt it was too much juice. You don't want the casserole dish to overflow. You don't want too much juice in there. You want enough that your cobbler's not dry. So I just left a little of it off. Now you top it off with, guess what? More cinnamon. I was reluctant to do this because I've never done it before where you add cinnamon on top like that. But it worked out great. And it leaves a pretty brown color on top. Okay, so now into the oven it goes, 350 degrees until it's completely baked and golden brown. And there we are, my peach cobbler. Thank you guys for watching.